Should what happened to your parents, to you, and to your brother, and well, even your older sister, should this have happened the way it did in this country you live in?
The fact that this was all based off of lies, this shouldn't have happened if these lies weren't said. But even if those lies were said, I should have been at my parents' less than 3 months before we went into the system, because they did complete their classes and they did everything that Fort said they needed to do in order to get me my siblings back.
This terrible story is about a girl who was abducted from her family and separated from her siblings. She was abused by her CPS caseworker, and when she reported it, she was sent to a psych ward, drugged and sexually abused. The girl who witnessed the systematic child abuse of Ashley was immediately transferred to another clinic in another state and never heard from again. Ashley's parents, Scotty and Francine, continued to fight for the custody of their daughter, and despite complying with all the rules and meeting all the requirements, she was never returned to them.
And I'm sitting here with Scotty Harris and Francine Stevens, and we're discussing corruption within Santa Clara County, court system, county council, Department of Social Services across the board. Can you guys state the case number for the audience?
An email from Ellen B. Pascal details the terrible counts of perjury, fabricated evidence, deceit, and abuse by the CPS and the abduction of their 3 children, Ashley, Linda, and Skylar. The purpose of this email is to appeal to a small but mighty group of people who, if they choose to collaborate, even briefly, can positively impact the grotesque CPS epidemic that appears to be aimed at all of our children. I suggest we consider one family in particular, that of Scotty Harris and Francine Stevens, and for the reasons that I will explain below. The email contains a Facebook quote from Ashley's father, begging for help. "My children were stolen from my house on July 3rd, 2010. The children's names are Linda, Ashley, and Skylar. They were stolen by Judge Catherine Lucero of Santa Clara County, California. When the police came 2 days prior on a first attempt, they left because the oldest daughter was not successful at trashing a room and getting her siblings to hit each other, so she could claim one or both of the parents were responsible. On July 3rd, she made sure to add a few things and lied to the police, including convincing her sister and brother to lie. Later, I would hear my daughter Ashley whisper to me that
Mr. Pop. Eat.
They don't want you to know what's going on. Because if you did, you would rebel. You would fight back. What I present.
Guys, I don't know if you can hear me or not hear me or hear this or not see it. I'm trying to get. I'm trying to stream.
To help the past, present, and future victims of an agency which has ripped families apart for decades. I'm talking about Child Protective Services, and I was one of their foot soldiers as a CPS investigator.
See, it doesn't want to show there. Why doesn't it want to show there? What the fuck?
There are over 400,000 children
I can't even get it to go to where I need it to
care and the protection of this organization, and therefore I find it imperative to come out
It's ridiculous.
and expose the truth about what they are in order to atone
It's not
for
even
my
there.
sins. As an investigator, I was guilty
See, that's
of
working.
working for an organization that has hampered freedom throughout the United States and has caused millions of parents to live in fear. I was guilty of working for an agency that has done more to carry out the war on drugs than the war against child abuse. I'm guilty for working for an agency that was directly funded more for every child that was taken from a parent, that treated children as a product that was abused physically, sexually, and emotionally.
Page is open.
I'm guilty of working for Child Protective Services.
CPS. Do you know what it stands for? Child Protective Services. However, history shows that they do, proverbially speaking, not stand for this. They do not stand for children. They do not stand for protection, and they do not stand for service. They stand for corruption, they stand for profit, and they stand for secrecy. This is Senator Nancy Schaefer.
But tonight, I'm talking about those children removed from their homes intentionally for profit. Children are seized unnecessarily from their families due to the federal aid created in 1974 entitled the Adoption and Safe Families Act. It offers financial incentives to the states that increase adoption numbers. To receive the adoption incentives or bonuses, local CPS must have more children. They must have more merchandise to sell. Funding is available when a child is placed in a foster home with strangers.
Can you guys hear
Or
me?
placed in a mental health facility
Hang
and
on a minute.
medicated, usually against.
Can you guys hear me? Because I'm trying to live stream through OBS and I've not done it on YouTube before and it's a pain in the ass. So I've got like 10 fucking pages up here and I kept searching for where the fuck is it and it keeps telling me to open up a new live stream, whatever. Right, so I'll turn that one off because that's a waste of my fucking time. You guys are there. All right, hang on a minute. That's that one there. What's this one? That's that one there. I don't even know if I need that fucking thing turned on. I'll listen, we'll leave it just in case. Where are you now? I've lost you guys. Hang on a minute. Ah, damn it. Okay, cool. All right, we've got it on YouTube. You can hear me, you can hear it. I'm going to shut up and let's listen to it because, yeah, I've been playing it while I've been trying to sort this out and I'm wanting to fucking kill some bastard. So let's just continue, shall we?
Children because they do not have the wherewithal to hire lawyers to fight the system. Being poor does not mean you are not a good parent, or that you do not love your child, or that your child should be removed and placed with strangers. 2. That all parents are capable of making mistakes, and that making a mistake does not mean your children are always to be removed from the home, even if the home is not perfect. It is home, and that's where a child is the safest and where he or she wants to be. With family. 3. That caseworkers and social workers are oftentimes guilty of fraud. They withhold evidence, they fabricate evidence, and they seek to terminate parental rights. However, when charges are made against them, the charges are ignored. 4. That the separation of families is growing as a business because of the local governments having grown accustomed to having taxpayers' dollars to balance their ever-expanding budgets. 5. That Child Protective Services and Juvenile Court can always hide behind a confidentiality clause in order to protect their decisions and keep their funds flowing. There should be open records and court watchers. Look who is being paid. There are state employees, lawyers, court investigators, court personnel, and judges. There are psychologists and psychiatrists, counselors, caseworkers, therapists, foster parents, adoptive parents, and others. All are looking to the children in state custody to provide job security. Parents do not realize that the social workers are the glue that holds the system together, that funds the court, the child's attorney, and the multiple other jobs including DFCF's attorney.
Can I just please tell you guys that my daughter did a stint with Child Protective Services, and when she saw that there was a button that gets pushed if that person, her for example, if she feels that those kids need to be taken out of a home or that they're in any kind of danger, pissed as in angry, not drunk, God no. When she found that out, that was it. She left. She goes, nobody has the right or that much right to decide whether kids can't be with their parents or not. So she said, regardless, whether it's an abusive, whatever, as long as the kids themselves are not getting physically abused, she says she can't, even then sometimes she goes, she's not God. She doesn't want to play God. And yeah, but so I do have somebody that knows about this. And I thought, when I saw this and I started watching it, I thought, oh my God, I just got fucking angry and pissed off by the minute. Sorry, let's continue.
Consideration 10. That if the lives of children were improved by removing them from their homes, there might be a greater need for protective services. But today, all children are not always safer. Children of whom I'm aware have been raped and impregnated in foster care, and the head of the Foster Parents Association in my district was recently arrested because of child molestation. These were just some of the controversial findings she concluded in her report. And it is pretty concerning if it is true. A service that is put in place to protect children and families is literally ripping them apart.
DCFS is trying to take us away from my mom again, and they already did before. I have to live with my grandma. We had to live with my grandma after my dad died, and my grandma, her name was Marilyn Cooper. Her name is Marilyn Cooper, and she abused us, and she made me want to kill myself over and over again. And told Child Protective Services she's abusing me, and they didn't care. And it took them an entire year before they sent us to foster care to get us away from my grandma. Because they didn't care, they wanted to get us away from my mom. I had been sad and depressed for 5 years because of Child Protective Services, because of what they did. They took away my childhood, like literally, like I was 8 when all this started. And my family needs to stay together. You don't know what it's like, unless it's happened to you, to have Child Protective Services come in and turn your life upside down. Yesterday, we went to court, and I was informed that they're going to try and take us away from my mom again because she tested positive for a test. She's not doing drugs. I'm with her all the time, and I'm not just some kid defending my mom. This is the truth, okay?
Meet Claire Cooper, a young girl who was forcefully removed from her loving mother after the death of her biological father. At the age of 8, she was placed in the care of her grandmother, which Claire claims to be abusive. Despite outcry for help, her wishes are ignored for 2 years while the mother fights to win custody of her own daughter. Claire says that this ordeal has cost her her childhood and traumatized her to the point of depression and made her feel suicidal. When you take a small glance at this case, it doesn't seem extreme. But if you know the motives behind the actions, you will realize that, in the most basic form, this is human trafficking. Why would they offer foster care to a grandmother? Is it because they actually care for her and wanted to be with relatives? No, that is not the case at all. Albeit being in the care of relatives, you are still in foster care. This means that the state is the legal guardian of the child. The grandparent has physical custody, but the state retains what's called legal custody. That's the right to make major decisions regarding the welfare of the child. Grandparents may take care of the child without much oversight or assistance from the state, and this is sometimes called informal kinship care. In other states, grandparents may have to go through the training and certification required to officially become foster parents. CPS benefits from this. For the child to remain in temporary custody of relatives, they must attend courses, which, in some states, the grandparents have to pay for. Also, it's not common for CPS to pay the foster parents if they are the child's grandparents. And when they do, the average is about $350 per month across all states. That's especially absurd considering the child's legal guardian is still the state, which means that all medical and educational decisions that are supposedly made in the best interest of the child are made by the CPS personnel. If the child remains in foster care for more than 12 months, then he or she officially becomes a part of the system, giving CPS or the
Later,
state
Michigan, thank
full
you.
custody of the child. This means they can give the child up for adoption without the consent of the parents. Family caregivers often spend a large portion of their income, not to mention their savings, to care for their loved ones. You might even be taking unpaid leave or feel forced to quit your job to fulfill your family obligation. Family caregivers who quit their jobs lose out not only on a paycheck, but on retirement plans, pension plans, and social security benefits. Family caregivers are saving insurance companies and government agencies billions of dollars by providing care. Shouldn't it be a way to get paid something? As we saw in Nancy's report, the CPS receive handsome incentives for abducting children from their homes and keeping them in foster care. And
Later,
only
Michigan.
a tiny percentage of that money actually goes into providing care for the child. If the abduction and profiteering of children really is a multi-billion-dollar industry, then we should see CPS use ruthless means to win custody of children. Claire claims that the CPS caseworkers deliberately lied in courts and even provided fake evidence to illegally abduct her. Just how common is this?
They're sending CPS to my kid's school because, I've never had an issue with CPS. My daughter's 6. I consume cannabis for my treatment because I'm terminally ill. And so they're sending CPS to my kid's school because I smoke cannabis. They assume my RSO, which is the whole plant oil, is heroin. Rather than checking it, they go, it's hospital property, so we can't check it. But fuck you, we're gonna go check your kid's well-being. My kid is in school right now. So they just admitted me to psych because I flipped out on the fucking cop. And so, I'm gonna be admitted for 3 days, whatever it is. And it's not right to assume they have test kits, test it. I can prove I don't have heroin. Why are you treating me like I'm a fucking addict when I'm not? I'm obviously here because I'm in distress and I have a broken sternum. And you're going to tell me I'm a heroin addict?
This is Natalie Hodges. They searched her bag, claimed that she was in possession of heroin, despite the fact she had proof that it wasn't. She tested positive for cannabis, and the police refused to acknowledge the fact that this was a health medication prescription. She was taking plant extract oil. She got aggravated and called the cop out for having a bad attitude. The cop swore to make her life worse, arrested her, then admitted her to a psychiatric clinic for 3 days. The cop then called the CPS and had her child abducted from school. She was pregnant during this and was avoiding taking medication that could harm her baby. That is why she opted to take the cannabis extract oil instead of Zofran during her first trimester. According to many sources, including the Birth Injury Guide, Zofran can and has caused birth defects such as fetal growth restriction and even death. But they confiscated the cannabis extract oil and forced her to take Zofran. The CPS will ask law enforcers to constantly survey and harass you so they can get dirt on you. They will ignore real evidence and facts, and at times completely fabricate evidence and make stories up to speed along the process of getting a court order to abduct your children. The Rembus family had their kids abducted twice, and the first time was at gunpoint. When the youngest kids of the family snuck outside into the front yard, a CPS personnel that had been surveilling the family for quite some time, to the point where she had taken lots of pictures of the children and even trespassed to spy on the family, immediately filed a form stating that the children were in immediate danger and must be removed from the family. Not knowing that they were under investigation by the CPS, the family went out of town to visit a friend. When the CPS arrived at the Rembus house to abduct the children, they discovered they weren't there and filed a missing persons case and accused the parents of kidnapping their own children. They were greeted by a SWAT team and their children were taken away from them. After getting custody of his kids back, the CPS personnel continuously probed around their property and spying on the family in hopes to find something they could use against them. But they couldn't find anything, so they fabricated evidence to get another court order to abduct their children. Perjury, fabricated reports, and evidence. The CPS worker claimed that the home was too dirty for the kids to live in, and that he left the kids in the custody of 2 strangers who happened to be babysitters. This was enough for the judge to sign the court order to have his children abducted from him.
I do. I do.
All lies. All lies. You can see the house is not dirty.
Okay. Well, I would
Okay.
definitely
Yes
suggest
or
you
no?
calling-
Yes or no?
I would definitely suggest you calling.
Yes or no? Yes or no? The house is clean or the house is dirty?
I would definitely suggest you calling your attorney first thing
Okay.
in the morning.
The kids
or
were left
tonight.
with a babysitter who was old enough to watch them. 2 of them, in fact.
Okay.
Yes or no? Okay.
Well, I'm just not gonna sit here and fight and argue with you.
Okay, well, you'll hear about it in court. I can file my own ex parte motion.
Okay, that's perfect.
You know, this is not in the kids' best interest. You realize that, right? Taking kids away from their parents. They've never been away from us before. They've never been away from home.
Well, I'm not gonna
Okay,
continue to
that's your
argue with
answer.
you about your in front of your children. I'm not gonna continue to argue. The judge signed the order, so that's just where we are right
Yeah, the
now.
judge signed the order based on no evidence whatsoever. So,
Before I go on, let's take a look at these social workers. The only qualification you need to be a CPS caseworker is a bachelor's degree, and it doesn't even need to be in social work. It can be something stupid like gender studies. That's about 2 years of college max. I said something about perjury, didn't I? I did. A lot of people claim that CPS caseworkers flat out lie to kidnap your children. But hey, that's illegal, isn't it? There is a chance they can get caught for that.
Jerry Murphy pleaded guilty to falsifying documents, admitting she filed paperwork filled with untruths about investigations involving children. Among the more disturbing cases listed in her indictment, the sexual abuse of a 3-year-old by their biological father.
The court has reviewed all information associated with this case and frankly is disturbed by the nature of the actions
Fucking lying
or
bitch.
non-actions that were taken.
According to a witness from the Cabinet
Fucking
of Health
bullet,
and Family
mate.
Services,
Bullet.
because
Where's
Murphy
the
either
fucking
never
bullet?
investigated abuse claims or lied,
Don't
the
put her
physical
somewhere and feed the
sexual abuse
bitch.
of children in
Bullet.
these cases went on for lengths of time.
The fact
Motherfucker.
that these children could be left in the hands of possible abusers is particularly disturbing to this court. To grant probation would to diminish the serious nature of those offenses, and I'm going to deny the motion for probation.
Murphy appeared to be surprised she was denied probation. She was sentenced to 5 years and taken into custody.
5 years, no parole, seems about right for defamation, slander, and attempted child abduction.
5 years,
Getting
I'd give
caught
a
for this
fucking
could
5
be a
years.
problem for the CPS. But to be caught, this would need to go to the Supreme Court. But unfortunately, the CPS target low-income earning families, and they can't necessarily afford a lawyer. But fortunately, somebody has taken them to court before.
Exactly,
Hardwick
Des.
versus Rican. The
Exactly.
panel affirmed
Look
the
at her.
district court's denial
I beat
on
the fuck out of her.
summary judgment of absolute qualified immunity to social workers
You know what I'd do if I
who
was the
plaintiff
mother?
alleged
I'd
maliciously
put
used
myself
perjured
deliberately in jail
testimony
where
and
she is so I could beat the fuck out of the
fabricated evidence
bitch.
to secure plaintiff's removal from her mother.
Or I'd
And
wait
that
until
this
she comes out and then I'd
abuse
kill her.
of state power violated her 4th and 14th Amendment constitutional right to a familial relationship with her mother. The panel held that the social workers were not entitled to absolute immunity from claims that they maliciously used perjured testimony and fabricated evidence to secure plaintiff's removal. The plaintiff held that the plaintiff's complaint targeted conduct well outside of the social worker's legitimate role as quasi-prosecutorial advocates in presenting the case. The panel held that the defendant's case for qualified immunity was not supported by the law or the record. The panel determined that the plaintiff produced more than sufficient admissible evidence to create a genuine dispute as to whether her removal from her mother's custody violated her constitutional rights. The panel further stated that it could not conceive of circumstances in which social workers would not know and understand that they could not use criminal behavior in any setting to interfere with persons' fundamental constitutional liberty interests.
What isn't clearly established here?
The fact that what Cassandra says, what's not been clearly established in the year 2000 when this removal occurred was the idea that the right to be free from
And this
deliberately
bitch too.
fabricating
Oh my
evidence
god, I
in
would want to
civil
fucking
child
bitch
abuse
slap her.
proceedings,
She's trying to protect
that
the other
result
fucking
in the
mole.
deprivation of a protected liberty interest, the same liberty interest that's at
But
issue.
it's not the same liberty interest, because this was a parental liberty interest.
It's a biological versus foster parent.
That's huge. That's gigantic in terms of what somebody could appreciate and understand. How in the world could a person in the position of, we have to take the facts as they're pleaded in the light most favorable, so, we're not trying the case. But how could a person in the shoes of your clients possibly believe that it was appropriate to use perjury and false evidence in order to impair somebody's liberty interest in the continued care, custody, and control of that person's children? How could they possibly not be on notice that you can't do that?
I understand the.
How could that possibly be?
I understand the argument that it seems to be common sense and our ethical.
It's more than common sense. It's statutes that prohibit perjury and submission of false evidence in court cases.
State statutes.
Are you telling me that a person in your client's shoes couldn't understand you can't commit perjury in a court proceeding in order to take somebody's children away?
Of course not, Your Honor.
Of course not.
Isn't the case over then?
And the case is over.
That is the CPS defending their so-called right to use perjured testimony and fabricated evidence. If this isn't proof that the abduction of the children isn't about the children's best interest, I don't know what is. But regardless of flaw, CPS truly believe that their perjured testimonies and fabricated evidence and bullshit opinion on the quality of living
Thank
of
you,
your
Froggy.
family
I
is
just gotta
enough
find
to
the
act
gun.
alone and take away your children.
You guys just said the judge did not sign off on it. He did not sign off on it. His signature is not even.
Can you do me a favor?
I'm looking right at the sheet.
Mikey, exactly. There's
Can you
another
read
case
this
coming
first
on
couple
where
lines?
that
Can
is
you
a
read them
girl
out?
actually talks about that. It's coming.
Come out loud.
Notice of emergency removal. This is an official notice by who? The DCPP.
Okay.
Child Protective Services.
Continue reading.
What else am I reading? Notice of emergency removal pursuant to NJSA 968229 and 9683 without court order. This is without court order. You guys came here and said this isn't court order. You guys lied from the very beginning. Did y'all not?
This is based, okay?
Did
There
you?
will be a court order generated based off of this emergency order. When the child gets taken,
You're trying to take my child to get a court order when you don't have a court order now.
We're arguing semantics at this point.
No, we're not arguing semantics. You said you had a court order and this was
This is
it.
what's going to happen, okay? We're taking the child.
So you're saying you're going to take our child from us?
The police department is not. The state of New Jersey is. And then you will have court.
But you're the one. So you're going to take my son from my
We are
wife.
not leaving until that child gets placed in those two rooms.
So you're going to take my son out of my wife's hand and take him. That's what you're saying you're going to do.
The CPS arrived with armed police escorts to abduct this man's child with false paperwork. Despite countless efforts of arguing that the paperwork is not official and no judge has signed it, both the CPS caseworkers and the police insist on removing the child from the home. The letter of emergency removal is only signed by the caseworker and the police department, and they argue that they do not need a court order to abduct his child. The caseworker even admits that the judge will make it legal after the abduction of the child by saying that he has agreed to sign the paperwork but just hasn't gotten around to it.
That's what y'all hoping that my wife just gives them to the CPS. We're telling you that that is not lawful. We're not giving our child to the CPS.
It is lawful. We're telling you it's not human for us just to rip the child out of the baby's hands. That's why we're trying to talk to you.
No. You're trying to find a slick way for us to hand our son over.
No one's trying to do anything slick or backward.
Listen.
Nothing like that at all.
I know you're.
None of us chose to come here today. We're here because we have to be here. Look, it sucks. What do you think What do you think you're going to accomplish here? We're telling you, bottom line, the baby's leaving.
All I'm saying to you guys is that y'all hand me this paperwork saying that this was a court order by a judge. On the paper it says it's not a court order. This is not. The point exactly. There is no judge. There is no judge who has given a court order to come here from Maryland or New Jersey.
You're going about the wrong
No,
way.
y'all are going about the wrong. Y'all are trying to convince me.
Guys, if anybody has streamed with OBS through to YouTube and you know why it's doing this, can you please let me know? It's starting to irritate the fuck out of me.
What about my wife?
I'm not taking it from your way.
Because you know you can't. You can't. Oh, okay. Well, then I got it.
Human being, I'm not going to do that.
Promise you that is proper documentation.
Hey, Eli.
You talk about what is proper documentation?
Cliff.
In your hand. CPS gives you papers like this all the time about coming to court in 2 ways.
Sorry, Froggy.
You talk about they don't make stuff up. I've been dealing with them the last year. I've seen them make things up.
You don't know what we've been through. You know what they've said we've been through.
So can I speak to you, please? So you're saying that the judge has already signed off on this?
The judge has signed off on a document that we can provide and make the decision.
So you don't have a judge signature. So what judge was this who said that they were doing that?
Judge, I think his last name is Odo.
What's his first name?
Not sure.
Later, the police threatened to charge him for the obstruction of justice and arrest him if he does not comply and hand over his son. The paperwork isn't legal, and justice is not being served. He had not been to court to decide whether the state gets custody of his child. The CPS just decided that his child should be removed using unsupported evidence, and that was enough. Nancy Schaefer did say that the CPS specifically target low-income families because they cannot afford the legal fees for fighting for the custody of their own children. Once the child is in the custody of the state, then it becomes his obligation to seek legal aid, and he must pay the legal fees, not the CPS, not the state.
Oh, what did I do now? Mother... Oh, you gotta be shitting me. Like, really? Come on. Yeah, see, it's my connection, guys. Sorry.
Pay the legal fees, not the CPS, not the state, but the poor family. They know that without substantial physical evidence, the judge will side with the family.
Oh, Des, I've been having dramas with them, you have no idea. That good woman called me again this morning, still trying to fucking fix the internet.
Even the police admitted that, and that is why they are desperate to trick the man into giving them the child, because then it becomes a lot harder for the man to win custody of his child again. Unfortunately, they successfully abducted this man's child. The CPS do not care about children's best interest. They care about the money they can make from abducting your child. They will stop at nothing. They will even use violent measures that can harm the child to remove it from its home.
Okay. There. So, now, they've got the 5-year-old still beside the car. And you can hear him. He's screaming, "I want my mommy. I want my mommy." And because he refused to leave with the 2 social workers that showed up to
Okay, the picture might be a little bit fuzzy,
that
but we
showed up
might.
to take him.
It might get rid of the buffering.
Basically, they called the police. So Chavez, I believe, was the officer's name, who was sitting on him in the back seat of the car because the 5-year-old little boy, again, the 5-year-old little boy wants his mommy. He wants to stay home, but they don't allow that. This is what they do. And then they'll take this 5-year-old little boy and they'll go shove him in a psych ward because they've already began the process of drugging him up. Now, mind you, this is on the orders. Oh, now we've got an ambulance. So the 5-year-old is absolutely going to a psych ward. Just because he wants his mommy. Let's see if I can, there we go. So he's just holding him up by his shoulders. And this is the best interest of the child. That's what this is, guys.
This 5-year-old boy is traumatized for life. They are supposed to be acting in the best interest of the child. The majority of children that get abducted by CPS are far more likely to just disappear, be abused, raped, or even murdered. Kids come out of the system damaged, a lot worse than just simply coming from a poor home. This is a fact that the CPS is well aware of, but completely ignore because it's not in their best interest. This is Ashley Harris.
I might have fixed it.
Who was
listen to
stolen
this
by
young girl.
CPS
Listen to this young girl. It's coming up in a
around
bit.
a little over 4 years ago. And we're doing an update, and Ashley is here to share the experiences with her case, which is JD 20223. Corruption in Santa Clara County. Ashley, could you share with the people what has been happening with you?
Well, lately they've been just putting me in hospitals to keep me quiet because I was old enough to know what to talk about and that they were lying to me. In the beginning, they always wanted me to lie for them, but I refused to, and they were trying to adopt me out so they could get money. So I wrote a letter stating that I will not be adopted and that they may not change my name. That's when the lies started happening. So, they've pretty much got my brother because he believed their lies, but I'm speaking against them and exposing what they have done. Not very long ago, they sent me to St. Helena's mental health facility for youth, and it was very provocative, very explicit what they did. It was that they took away all my rights, and they would state that juveniles in the facility have no rights. They told me I had no rights. When they took me in on the ambulance, they were wheeling me in, and they told me that they were going to take all my clothes off. I told them they had no permission to do that. So they took drugs, which some people call booty juice, and they injected it into me and made me sedated. But I was still half awake. They took all my clothes off of me and strapped me down to the bed naked. They put a catheter in me, and they would not feed me. They hooked me up to an IV. And anytime I would ask them, they wouldn't listen to me. They kept me in a room with cameras in it, but if we were to expose this, they'd probably cut the film out. Somebody saw this though. Her name was Amelia. She was in the same unit as me, and I knew her from past experiences being there. Amelia saw them through the window what they were doing to me because she saw me come in, and she peeked to see if I was there. And she saw 2 male mental health workers and a female nurse taking off my clothes and tying me to a bed while I was screaming. And when I was out of the solitary confinement, or quiet room is what they call it, she was telling me what they were doing, and they told us we cannot talk in group. The next morning they sent her to LA.
Booty juice, according to the DEA, is MDMA mixed with liquid. MDMA is also known as ecstasy. Why the hell would they inject little children with ecstasy? According to Health Direct, Australian government website, MDMA is an illicit drug which can give users a euphoric rush after swallowing it. It has serious side effects, especially if it's taken in a hot and humid environment. Long-term use can lead to severe depression and memory problems. Depression and memory problems? Feel great while they do terrible things to you, then forget it later, and blame your messed up memories, or at least what's left of them, on depression. Sounds about right. Also, ecstasy is a drug that sexual predators commonly use to sedate and seduce underage kids. The DEA's list of names used to describe MDMA are quite disturbing and share themes with pedophilia. Baby slits, bean, blue kisses, booty juice, candy, chocolate chips, Kleenex, love doctor, love drug, love potion number 9, love trip, skittle, Smarties, speed for lovers, and sweets.
Bullet
This drug
people.
is often given to unknowing children
Fuck
disguised
jail.
as candy.
Bullet.
It is a rape drug. On MDMA, your standards are significantly lowered. The euphoric feeling creates a false sense of love and trust. It boosts the libido and therefore is considered to be a very dangerous drug. One young woman recalls being spiked with ecstasy and being taken advantage of by a much older man. She writes, "I went out with a friend one night to have a few drinks. I was 19 at the time, and there was this older guy in a suit that kept talking to me. He slipped something into my drink, and I didn't notice. I ended up making out with him, and he wanted to take me behind the bar. Later, when the drug started wearing off, I realized that I had been spiked with ecstasy. I wasn't at all attracted to the older man, and I thought he was kind of scary, but the ecstasy lowered my standards and made me trust the guy somehow."
Ashley, in closing, should what happened to your parents, to you, and to your brother, and, well, even your older sister, should this have happened the way it did in this country you live in?
The fact that this was all based off of lies, they shouldn't have happened if these lies weren't said. But even if those lies were said, I should have been at my parents' less than 3 months before we went into the system, because they did complete their classes and they did everything the court said they needed to do in order to get me my siblings back.
This terrible story is about a girl who was abducted from her family and separated from her siblings. She was abused by her CPS caseworker, and when she reported it, she was sent to a psych ward, drugged and sexually abused. The girl who witnessed the systematic child abuse of Ashley was immediately transferred to another clinic in another state and never heard from again. Ashley's parents, Scotty and Francine, continued to fight for the custody of their daughter, and despite complying with all the rules and meeting all the requirements, she was never returned to them.
And I'm sitting here with Scotty Harris and Francine Stevens, and we're discussing corruption within Santa Clara County court system, county council, Department of Social Services across the board. Can you guys state the case number for the audience?
An email from L&B Pascal details the terrible counts of perjury, fabricated evidence, deceit, and abuse by the CPS and the abduction of their 3 children, Ashley, Linda, and Skylar. The purpose of this email is to appeal to a small but mighty group of people who, if they choose to collaborate, even briefly, can positively impact the grotesque CPS epidemic that appears to be aimed at all of our children. I suggest we consider one family in particular, that of Scotty Harris and Francine Stevens, and for the reasons that I will explain below. The email contains a Facebook quote from Ashley's father, begging for help. "My children were stolen from my house on July 3rd, 2010. The children's names are Linda, Ashley, and Skylar. They were stolen by Judge Catherine Lucero of Santa Clara County, California. When the police came 2 days prior on a first attempt, they left because the oldest daughter was not successful at trashing a room and getting her siblings to hit each other, so she could claim one or both of the parents were responsible. On July 3rd, she made sure to add a few things and lied to the police, including convincing her sister and brother to lie. Later, I would hear my daughter Ashley whisper to me that Linda did all of this and Linda was responsible. I called for them to return my children because I was not charged or arrested for anything. I had no priors I had no probation. I did not do anything. A man named Joshua refused my demands to return my children on that day. Joshua was in authority at a secret satellite shelter for children. Judge Lucero would not release my children to me. My wife was pressured to plead no contest by a public defender named Jessica. The courts took all visitation away as a part of their agenda. My wife completed everything asked of her to have the children returned. The courts refused to honor their own rules and accepted lies from their social worker, Anthony Nakru Okra, who, when asked on the stand about why, answered, "I was told to do this by my supervisor, and I didn't read the paperwork that was completed." The woman that refused to give the completed papers to my wife was successfully sued in a small claims court and found guilty. Sally Dannenberg was ordered to hand over all completion paperwork. Dannenberg has not complied with the courts and is in civil court to move forward in a few months. My children could be your children or children of someone you know. What would you do? Christmas number 4 without my children, without my family, and still nobody helps or cares. Because it's not them. My children are attempting suicide and having troubles because no one will listen to them about what really happened. They are being told to be quiet or they will be punished for telling the truth. Sadly, a short time after the interview, Ashley disappeared without a trace. These are undeniable facts and evidence to prove that CPS are actually abducting children and technically selling them for profit. But is there evidence out there that actually links CPS to pedophile rings?
My name's Deborah K. Grant. I'm from San Diego, California. I was harmed in San Jose, California when I was living up there. I had worked at a junior college and met someone who was a math professor there. We married and then had 3 kids, 3 children, 1 daughter and 2 sons. And I was his 3rd wife, and I understand he's married a 4th time or divorcing a 4th time, I don't know. But in any event, he sort of disappeared out of the scene after we got divorced. He made himself a deal with a protection racket for pedophile dads in Santa Clara County Family Court here in California that caused us a lot of harm. The children and me. They basically pressure the mothers to capitulate to not saying anything about a pedophile ring up there. They tell you that pedophilia has been around a long time and all of these things, excuses, but you just have to do what's right, and the right thing is to say no. It's not okay to do that to a child. It's not okay for organized networks of people to do that to children. Anyway, so I was teaching elementary school, but I came home from work early one day and about an hour early, and walked into our house and didn't expect anything unusual. I don't think my ex-husband was expecting me home early. Walked in, didn't see anybody, walked into the bathroom and found him molesting our daughter in the tub. He had my daughter's 5-year-old hand on his penis, his erect penis. And he saw me, jumped out of the tub, ran past me, and later told me that if I divorced him, I'd be putting a gun to my head. But he cut himself a deal with the family court attorneys up there for pedophile dads, and they completely seek to decimate the injured. Well, they'll decimate mothers and children if they have a paying pedophile dad who has the money to buy himself protection through the system. I did not understand that the system is able to operate extra constitutionally as a protection racket system that aids criminals or criminal behavior. I didn't understand that. I was expecting to find a constitutional system in place that would be, and the rule of law, where we would get protection, and that's not what happened.
Deborah Grant caught her husband sexually molesting her 5-year-old daughter. When she divorced him, she had to fight for the custody of her own child, and lost. The CPS and the family court ruled in the favor of the pedophile, and the CPS workers would taunt her and mock her. Her husband is wealthy and is protected by the state. He outright bought custody of the girl he molested.
Nothing I did there could get the people in the full judgeships to enforce the law. They refused to, and basically they told me outside the court that I had to go along with what they wanted, and actually law enforcement came and said, you need to pay these people. I paid into the network of people as best I could through the attorneys, which hiring my attorney, but he ended up working for my ex-husband, and I've been petitioning for redress because I figured that's the only way to get out of the situation. Because I'm not going to capitulate to saying that it was okay for them to kidnap my children and destroy their childhoods as they did. You know, and I wanted to say, when I was up in San Jose, in Barnes & Noble bookstore, for example, this is one way the perps operated, was some men would come in, and I'd be reading in someplace. They'd wait till I was kind of secluded, alone, and someone would, maybe a gentleman would come and sit next to me and say, well, you know, how do you feel about the fact that we're causing your daughter to be sexually molested? As her mother, does that make you upset? Does it make you angry? You know, how does that make you feel?
Again, a clear-cut case of the CPS acting in their best interest, not the child's. They abducted the girl and sold her to a pedophile that had already abused her.
I lost a case against a pedophile. David Yomtov is the pedophile's attorney. He has been using the House Sale Proceeds Trust Fund in order to pay off judges, my own attorney, and few people at the DA's office. This is unacceptable. No wonder I lost the case. David Yomtov must be punished. No attorney should be using the trust fund of House Sale Proceeds to pay off people in order to win the case, especially a child molestation case.
Another alleged case of the family court and the CPS giving custody of a child to a pedophile. And what was the motive? Money, profit. This woman accused attorney David A. Yomtov for using trust fund money to pay off judges and the CPS to help the pedophile win custody. Child custody. When parents split up, their children often suffer more than the parents do. Child custody decisions are supposed to be about protecting the best interest of the child. Unfortunately, many parents think that the custody means ownership, and too often, children are caught in the middle of their parents' disagreements. This is what's written on David's official website. Best interest of the child. Yet this man allegedly used dirty tactics to fight to give custody of a young girl to a registered sex offender and a pedophile, because that is definitely in the best interest of the child. It is a little strange that the last three cases I mentioned of the CPS and family court corruption happened in the same state, in the same county, Santa Clara, California, and involved the same people. Judge Brian Walsh, County Executive Jeff Smith, Detective David Carroll, Judge Socrates Peter Manukian. Perjury, fabricated evidence, bribes, corruption. A simple Google search on any of these people will bring up a hell of a lot of dirt. And this is just a handful of cases in just one county. This kind of corruption is common throughout the United States of America. According to a report, CPS takes an estimated 650,000 to 1 million children from their homes, playgrounds, schools, hospitals, and parents a year. And only about 6% or less were in any real danger or high-risk environments. The more children in foster care, the more money a local CPS agency receives from the federal government, with funds distributed throughout the community. Funding recipients include teachers, attorneys, doctors, judges, therapists, caseworkers, foster parents, coaches, sub-agencies such as Family First and Head Start, insurance companies, consultants, outside contractors, and watchdog agencies, just to name a few.
There's a woman in California who's going up to judge and attorneys for this sort of thing. I will not give her name out with that, but... Oh, Cliff, go for it, mate. Go for it. Just to stop it for a second, people. Do you seriously think, with all the surveillance, with all the facial recognition, the surveillance, knowing where everybody is at every given motherfucking moment, do you seriously believe that the government and the police don't know where these houses are, where these children are, where these young women and young men are? They know where all of them are. They're the ones that are not doing fuck all about it, but they know where all of this is.
I'm selling my body for money so I could take a bus. You know, that doesn't sound like a choice.
She lost her glasses several days into her trafficking situation, and her prescription was quite strong.
So she couldn't see who was coming in the room to have sex with her.
People are judging you, so you can't go to them because they're talking about you. They think this is a choice. So now I have to pretend that this is what I want to do. Now I have to say, I don't care. It's just about the money. I have to make up these things to fit in so you won't think bad about me. So what does that do to someone's mental state? Well, you lose hope. I think when we think about sex trafficking in DC, all our minds go internationally at first, or it goes to the posters that we've seen with people with their hands up, with barcodes on the ground, a misinterpretation of what trafficking actually is.
Trafficking occurs when youth exchange anything of value for sex. So it could be a cell phone, it could be a ride, it could be a place to sleep, it could be drugs.
Under the federal law, any minor engaged in a commercial sex act is considered a victim of human trafficking. And so, most often that looks like children being exploited through the system of prostitution, but it's not limited to that. So when you see young people who are being exploited in strip clubs, through pornography, through massage parlors, all of that constitutes sex trafficking, child sex trafficking under the law.
So some people may not be aware, but there are 4 paradigms of sex trafficking: family control, survival sex, gang control, and pimp control.
Families who may sexually exploit children within the family, sometimes parents or extended relatives, as a means of supporting a family need, addiction may play a role in that.
Familial exploitation, I think, works because children rely on their families to have their needs met, and their families are often the most important people in their lives. And so if your family member has expressed to you that, I need you to do this so that we can pay the rent, or I need you to do this so that we can buy your sister's medicine, things like that make it really difficult for the child to feel like, A, that they would tell anybody that it's happening, and B, like there's any other option that the family has.
A current case that's up right now of a young girl that we have that's 10 years old, and it was definitely her mother. And she was selling her on the street and online on Instagram as well. Did the people know her age? Well, they knew that she was 10 years old knowingly, and it was the mother who would make the dates for her. So that is definitely family control situation. She was removed from her home, and the mother is being charged.
And it is especially difficult, I think, for kids to feel like there's a way out, because if they do report anything to anyone, kids kind of know a bit about what might happen if they raise information to an authority or even to a teacher who would likely call an authority. And for that child, the worst case scenario might be being removed from their home.
I think the level of betrayal in those particular cases that the youth feels is profound, to be trafficked by a family member.
We don't want youth to live in a world where they're already so used to their body being violated, perhaps by a loved one or family member or a teacher, that it doesn't feel so strange to then actually be in a position where they're using survival sex to get needs met. Because survival sex, it might sound confusing, but for some youth, they feel more sense of control engaging in survival sex than staying at home and experiencing serial rape by a loved one. And sometimes those feel like the options that kids have.
Survival sex, which is where they don't have a trafficker necessarily, but they have a buyer who's willing to exploit their vulnerabilities, and instead of maybe providing them with money, is instead providing them with food or shelter.
Survival sex essentially is any sort of a sexual act that people would.
Can I just stop it for a minute and tell you guys this story that happened here in Perth? A mother left a child for the boyfriend, I think it was, to babysit. Okay. Anyway, she comes home. She finds the kid's not there. Calls the cops. Whatever. The police go on the hunt because this was a baby. I'm talking baby, right? The police officer that actually found the child, I don't know whether he's still in the police system. I stopped following the story. I know that he was needing psychological help after what he saw, but he actually found the son of a bitch in a park, and when I say with the baby on him, just use your imagination, because I don't even want to say any more than that. If that had have been me with a gun on my hip, mate, I would not have stopped until there was no bullets left. But anyway, that's just me.
She hasn't felt comfortable staying where she was supposed to stay. She didn't feel like she had a way to feed herself or her son. So she'd find herself in situations where she might sleep with someone to make sure that she and her son had somewhere to stay that night.
Your environment is not giving you a stable place to live. Your environment is not giving you food and clothing. Your environment is lacking. And so while you don't have a trafficker who may hit you with hangers or lock you in a closet, you're having to still survive through the exchange of sex for money. And you know what's worse? Is that the community looks at you with a different lens. If you were considered of having been trafficked, you were a victim. If you engaged in survival sex or been environmentally trafficked, you did it on your own. You wanted that life. And it's so unfortunate that the community does not often see the victimization that individuals who engage in that lifestyle go through every day or went through prior to having to enter that life.
People have a rescue fantasy with youth who've been trafficked, that you're going to identify them, you're going to rescue them, and their life is going to be better. I think it's really important to meet youth where they are, and to understand that they may not think or recognize that they're being trafficked right now. And my job is just to make sure that you're safe and healthy. My job is to minimize any risks to your health and safety right now. And so I'm going to address all of that and also recognize your autonomy.
I think most people want to know, how long does it take to get a good place? It took me 10 years to get out of life. So I don't think that we should expect a person who's 9 or 10 to be
Mikey, absolutely no fucking mercy. None. Nada.
This is a long-term process to change a whole entire mindset. So rescuing a person isn't really a rescue if you rescue a body and not the mind.
Aussie Tiger, let me tell you, my children, okay, I said to them, this is not a society to bring children into. I told them, totally your choice, your body, your whatever. My advice to you is, do not bring kids into this kind of fucking fucked up society. Neither of them have children. Not because they listened to what I said, but they can also see what is going on.
The guy at the top that helped create Toy Story, Lasseter, is leaving Pixar and Disney because of groping multiple employees.
Prospector, how about you? And so you two are absolutely identical? You
know, I'm sure I could get you a part in Toy Story 3.
Now this goes deep, because we just decoded Toy Story 1 and showed you scenes from that film that seem to indicate sexual overtones throughout the film.
I'm sorry, are we back? Oh, all right, girls. Lovely talking with you. Yes, anytime you'd like some tips on acting, I'd be glad to chat with you.
Now, when I go to a kid's movie to show my kids, I don't want to show them subliminal sexual overtones. Apparently, that's very hard for people to grasp their head around. In fact, many people think that this is acceptable and okay because it's the adult part of the entertainment, while the adults have to sit through some of these movies. But this goes beyond innocent sexual suggestions, and this goes deeper into child trafficking, and that's what I'm going to show you now. Now, Woody starts out being abducted, kidnapped, and then trafficked on the black market to a toy dealer. He's imprisoned. There are cages, boxes, dark places. This is exactly what happens to trafficked children. Jesse does not want to go back into the dark. And they photograph these kids. They distribute these photos out on the black market. This isn't all in our heads. This is some sick undertones and subliminal messaging that was incorporated into this film by a person who obviously has a sexual problem. If you're bold enough to be doing this to your employees, then you're bold enough to put subliminal messaging like this in films. Binding. These kids are bound, tortured. They're comparing Lassiter to Weinstein. It's all about the money and the trafficking of these kids. Let's look deeper into this film because there are many more symbols that we've already identified.
We've been detected. Close. They're closing in. Quick, help me prop up Vegetable Man. Vegetable Man. Done for. Put me down, you moron. Ain't kidding. I say we stack ourselves up, push the intercom, and pretend we're delivering a pizza.
How about a ham sandwich with fries and a hot dog?
So anyway. Go. I got it.
So obviously Mr. Potato Head is a vegetable, and they want you to know that he's a vegetable. In fact, Kate Bush liked to dance on squashed fruits and vegetables in her music videos. And then also dance on the skulls of children. That video was age restricted because I exposed it. They know that children are vegetables. That's why there's a movie that's supposed to get some kind of award called My Life is a Zucchini, about a child, an abused child.
My name is Zucchini.
Zucchini. Did your mother give you that name?
They know that children represent vegetables. And children also represent pizza. And that's why the vegetable keeps talking about pizza. Let's move on. There are other symbols that repeat.
And Barbary, your wife called. She wants you to get some pizza on the way home.
It's him.
Okay, people, move along. There's nothing to see here.
He doesn't look like poultry. That's a kidnapper, all right.
What's the trouble? Where's the body?
Barbary, I just caught some guy in here having sex with one of my chickens. It's the Chicken Man!
That's our guy. Oh.
My God, that's disgusting. Whoa, dude, how do you have sex with a chicken?
I knew there was something I didn't like about that chicken.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Boys, you move along. This isn't for young eyes to see. Did you get a good look at the suspect?
No, I didn't see anything. It just happened so fast. Gonna do this commercial in one take, do you hear me? Because I am in the middle of something really important.
It says, sorry I had sex with the chicken. I won't do it again. Bye-bye.
You, my little cowboy friend, are gonna make me big.
I hate humanity. I hate what a lot of people have turned into.
Today, if you saw somebody chained to a post,
I think the
you
world
would do
needs an
something about
avenger.
it. But in the days of the transatlantic slave trade, it was a normal sight to see. It isn't as clear today of what modern slavery looks like. But by knowing the signs of human trafficking, you can help protect yourself and you can help protect others. Traffickers would often brand their victims with tattoos, using words such as daddy or catch. Trafficking victims may show sudden changes of dress and behavior. They may suddenly have possessions that they usually can't afford. They may have unusually long work hours. Victims may have new relationships with boyfriends or girlfriends that are noticeably older, and I'm not talking about a few years. Difficulty with making eye contact, especially with men. Victims may have untreated medical problems, such as cuts, bruises, burns, broken bones. They may miss school frequently and frequent trips. Victims may be unable to speak independently. Other people may insist on answering questions for them, or even translating for them. Victims may even be frightened of authorities, seeing them as the bad guys. To request help or report possible human trafficking incidents, please call the National Human Trafficking Hotline, 1-888-3737-888, or text info or help at BeFree-233-733.
Just once more to repeat, people, they know where all these houses are. They know where all these children are. They know where all these young people are. They know. The government knows. The police know. If we're not going to stop hating each other, and if we're not going to fucking start, if somebody is in a place where they can see that bullshit is going on or shit is going down, and you're not going to say nothing, then you're as guilty as the fucking people doing it. It's up to the useless eater to protect the useless fucking eater. Because police don't seem to want to do it. They seem to be involved in all of this. Everybody's getting a fucking kickback. And the government doesn't give a flying fuck. We know that. Oh, I don't know, people. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Victims may be unable to speak in the...
Hang on. I'll just
Other
stop it
people
on a
may
thingy and I'll
insist on
talk to you
answering
guys
questions
for a
them,
minute.
or even translating for them.
Wait a minute.
Victims may even be frightened of authorities, seeing them as the bad guys. To request help,
I'll stop it on the phone number.
possible human trafficking incidents, please call the National Human Trafficking Hotline, 1-888-3737-888, or text info or help at BeFree-233-733.
Hang on a minute, because there's a bit of a delay from my monitor to the screen. It'll probably fucking stop somewhere else. Oh, listen, I just wanted to put the number back out there. I don't know if I'm assuming the number is obviously valid and whatever, because the channel where I got that, which you saw, and I've got nothing down in description because, yeah, I was trying to figure out where the fuck my live stream was. But people don't think that children just fucking vanish. You know, like I was watching David Paulides, and I don't know if you people know who he is. If you don't know who he is, go check out his videos. It's David Paulides, Paulides. It might be a double L, it might not be. I can't remember correctly. It's 411, missing 411. There are people, and yes, I know that there's some weird fucking circumstances surrounding a lot of them, but when you hear the figures of how many children, how many people disappear every fucking year, these people can't just be dropping off the fucking face of the earth. Do you know what I mean? They can't be just dropping off the face of the earth. They are somewhere. Just like these kids. And to me, when I hear the surveillance, the mobile phones, the Lord knows fucking what, that the government wouldn't know where they are? Do you know what I mean? That they don't know where they are? I mean, Jesus, people that actually write books on this. Oh, that's the guy's name, Skinner. He's a journalist. He has made it his life's mission to follow human trafficking. His father did the same before him, and his grandfather did the same before him, right? If you want to get a hold of his book, I actually bought one of Skinner's books about human trafficking. And when I started reading that, the bastards that fucking prey on kids, for example, like in certain countries, like poverty-stricken countries and whatever, you know, farming, especially the farming community, and they might have X amount of kids, but they're struggling to feed them all. Well, of course, these bastards know. They know this, okay? So they go out to these people, and what they say to them is, we would like to help you out, and we would like to take 1, 2, whatever, as many kids, okay? And we take them to the city, and we school them, and we dress them, and we feed them, and whatever, and they get a good education, and they'll have a better life. And of course, being farmers, being uneducated, okay, they look at the fact, well, fuck, these kids are starving here with us, or they're eating very little, they might not amount to anything, whatever, or they'll be poor farmers or whatever. So they let these kids go, thinking that this is for real, when in actual fact, these children end up in rich fuckers' homes where they're either being screwed by the husband, molested by the wife, beaten the fuck out of by their children, or all of the above at the same time. And if by perchance they happen to kill that child, well, they just get thrown out into a ditch somewhere. You know, they get thrown out into a ditch somewhere. The amount of stuff like this that goes on everywhere, and this is the fucked part. People always think that it's just in a certain country. It's not. It's not. The last time that I went and looked to see about human trafficking, for fuck's sake, a guy that had done some research on it, I mean, Sydney, you know what I mean? Sydney, and that was only on the map at that point in time. I haven't been back to check that for a friggin' long time. I'm talking more than a few years, right? I'm sure that map has been updated since then. But they're everywhere. These houses, this trafficking is everywhere. People don't just drop off the face of the fucking earth, you know? And I mean, on the other side, you've got Child Protective Services. Well, come on, you know, come on. I mean, I wouldn't like to have to play God anywhere, except for the fact, the only time that I would like to play God and decide who lives or who dies is if I caught and I had proof that somebody had done that to a child. Bullet. I heard somebody saying the other day, oh, you can't abandon, you know, they're the people that need you the most, and they're the people that, you know, they need you the most, and you need to. No, because some people just don't want to fucking learn. Some people are just set in their ways. Well, when it comes to abusing children, when it comes to animal abuse, and for the love of Jesus, people, the amount of animals that suffer in the name of your shampoos, of your perfumes, of the whatever. And people think that God is going to forgive, for anybody that's religious, you seriously think that God's going to forgive anybody? Hell the fuck no. That dude has taken my advice. He's sipping on a pina colada somewhere on a fucking really sunny beach. Because I tell him, we don't deserve to be saved. So don't expect him to come down and save your ass. Because we all fucking know this. What did we ever do, or what are we doing to stop it? We buy those shampoos. Yes, majority of the time people don't realize, I get that, you know? But with all the information that we are privy to via the internet now, the information is there, you know? Stop buying these fucking products. Send these fuckers bankrupt. You're torturing a living thing. Doesn't matter whether it has 2 fucking legs, 4 legs, or whatever, you know? Somebody works in these places, Ben. Somebody works in these places. Somebody always knows fucking somebody but doesn't want to fucking say anything. It's this, if it's not the fucking big salaries that they get, then they sign these fucking papers, oh, you can't talk. Oh my God, I wouldn't care if I signed whatever. If I went into something like that and saw the fucking abuse, do you seriously think that paper's going to make a fucking difference to me? I'll wipe my ass on that fucking bitch. Wipe my ass on it. The government can teach you, see something, say something, to dob each other in if you're misbehaving and not following the rules. But what about us? What about us? When we see something or suspect something like that, but everybody is so zoned out. I mean, you watch people, like I've always said, sit somewhere and just watch people. It's like the living dead. To me, when I'm walking past people, oh my God, like if I see a guy and there's a child, I'll always keep my eye on the child to see whether it's distressed, whether it's looking around, whether it's whatever. To me, that's the first thing. That's the first thing. Do you know what I mean? We can do something. Fuck the money. Fuck the money. If you know something, for fuck's sake, say something. Not for the government's benefit, you know what I mean, so that they can profit, but say something to help another human being. Say something to help another living fucking entity that's on this earth. You can pray until the fucking cows come home, but if you know all of this, and we don't fucking do something about it, don't expect to be saved, people. I'm not a preacher. I don't want to be a preacher. I don't like preachers. I'm sorry. I don't like priests. I don't like preachers. Pastors, call them whatever you want. I don't. I don't. But don't just see something, say something because the government asks you to. You say something there and they're bound to fucking kill you to shut you the fuck up. You see something, say something in protection to another human being, another useless eater, because that's all we are. If you see somebody picking up fucking somebody's kids or whatever and you know that those kids aren't abused, don't be fucking afraid to step in and go, what are you fucking doing? I live next door to them. Nobody's abusing these kids. Don't be afraid to stand next to that person and go to fucking court and go, this is a load of bullshit. Don't be fucking afraid of that. We've been taught to live in fear. It's constant fear. You can't do this. Don't say that. Oh, shit, this might happen. That might happen. Fuck it. Fuck it. I mean, majority of us live in fucking poverty anyway. What the fuck have we got to lose? What the fuck do we have to lose? What, your big pay packet that you get? Where you have to fucking budget so bad every fucking week that half the time you're lucky if you eat once a day. And if you got kids, God help you. I had a woman living behind me, as you guys know that have followed me. Aboriginal woman. And the government here in Australia loves taking Aboriginal children. They just love doing that, okay? They've been doing it for years, even though they got Sorry Day, which Sorry Day in Australia was supposed to be, we're terribly sorry because it took your kids away then. But like she says, the fuckers are still doing it. What are they sorry for? What are they sorry for? What, that they got caught? They're still doing it to this day. Anyway, this Aboriginal woman said to me, she goes, why don't I apply to be a foster home, like for the Aboriginal children that, you know, are being put out there? And I was talking to my kids, and my eldest daughter, like I said, she was in Child Protective Services until she realised that it meant taking kids away and whatever. And when it came down to she couldn't do it, she turned around and she says to me, Mum, don't do it. Don't do it. She goes, because a lot of the time, she goes, those kids are taken away for no reason whatsoever. It's purely sometimes by somebody saying something because they hate that person or they're jealous of that person or whatever the fuck. She goes, when those people find out where their kids are, she goes, you're going to have them knocking on your door. She goes, you're going to have drama all the fucking time. She goes, and it's not a little bit of fucking drama. Because this is not where these people show up. Because they're angry, and they have a right to be fucking angry. Because this is years upon years of having their children taken away. Families literally pulled the fuck apart. The woman that lived behind me, 3 sisters, okay? I'll talk about the 3 sisters. All 3 were taken. Youngest was 5. I think the second one was 7, and the next one was 8. They were put on into one of these homes, okay? One of these Child Protective Services homes, supposedly, in a rural community. The farmers would show up on the weekend. On the weekend was the only time that they dressed these kids up in pretty dresses. Because the single farmers would come along and they would pick whichever one they wanted. They would take them. They would bring them back at the end of the weekend. And this continued. My mate was saying to me, she says, when my sister and I realised what was going on, she goes, when they came, we would always stand in front of the 5-year-old so that they wouldn't pick her. This is kids at the age of fucking 7 and 8 protecting a 5-year-old. Fucking bullet. There are no fucking excuses for shit like that. Like I said before, I don't know that cop that found that bastard in the park with that baby. I would have kept shooting. And if I had more fucking ammo, I would have reloaded and I would have ripped his fucking body to bits with bullets. And I tell you what, there wouldn't have been one fucking jury or one court that could have fucking done anything to that guy. Because we can only but imagine. I'm imagining and I want to fucking kill some bastard. We can't keep quiet anymore. We can't not do anything. Because we know the surveillance is there. We know the government knows. We know that the majority of them are doing it. Because they like to get dirty shit on each other. You know, they like to get dirty shit on each other. That way it's, you got to toe the line or I'm going to fucking spill the beans and you're going to lose the big pay packet. You're going to lose the salary. You're going to lose your pension. You're going to lose the whole fucking lot. They like doing that. They get shit on each other. They put each other into situations like this. Oh, you were there. You were there. Why didn't you say something? You had a chance to say something, but you didn't. You were there. You're just as guilty. They get this kind of shit on each other. So we know that they know. They know what's going on. They know where all of these houses are. They know where all of these people are. No different to the police. No different to the police. I know that there was a group of I don't know whether they were ex-military. I think they were ex-military. I don't think that they were actually police. In the United States, I know that I used to follow their website at one point. This is going some years back. If they found that children were being taken, because children get taken across the border, and they get sexually abused and whatever, and then they get brought back over across the border again. So they followed them. They found where these kids were. They waited. And this was not just one or two kids. This is a house full of kids where the guys come in and do whatever they want with them. Bullet. Don't fucking arrest them. Don't fucking feed them. Don't let them live. After something like that, they don't have a right to breathe, and that's where I want to be God. As for the rest, oh God, he's got enough problems with all of us. I don't want to be God. No. But when it comes to something like that, oh yeah, I want to be God. I want to decide whether you drop fucking dead and stop breathing or whether you continue breathing. There I do. We need to fucking do something because they're not doing it. They're getting paid. They're getting paid to either stay quiet, to cooperate, to build their fucking big homes, to have their lush fucking meals. How many people are fucking starving it? Do they fucking care? No, they don't fucking care. You know, when I hear people talking about politicians and the elections and this one and that, and I just grab my fucking head and half the time I don't even want to discuss it because I just get fucking angry and I think to myself, how fucking stupid can people be? They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if you're on the street. They don't give a fuck what you put on the table in front of your child. Does that child get to eat tonight? They don't care. Do they care if you have money for your medication? No, they fucking don't. They know how to prescribe it to you, but they don't give a fuck once they get you addicted. Do you have the money to continue that? They don't give a fuck about any of it. They don't give a fuck about spraying you with poison. They don't give a fuck about making your food GMO. They don't give a fuck about your water supply that you're drinking. They don't give a fuck, people. They know what everybody's doing. They know where everybody's at. If we don't start fucking taking care of each other, nobody else is going to do it. Do not depend on them, because they don't care. Get that through your head. They don't care. It doesn't matter. You want to call it the sex party, you want to call it the Republican Party, you want to call it the Democrats, you want to call it Liberal, you want to call it Labor, you want to call it the fucking Greens, you want to call it whatever the fuck. They don't fucking care. Elections supposedly happen. New fucker comes into power. He's making all the promises in the fucking world. What the fuck changes? When have you ever seen anything fucking change for the good? And when the government does give you something, be the fuck as scared as all hell. Don't just accept it. Question the shit out of it. Because guaranteed, they're giving it to you for a reason. They're giving it to you for an agenda. And it ain't fucking for your betterment. I can tell you that now. But anyway, that's my little fucking rant for the day. I wish I could fucking stay in here with you guys and have yous on the panel or whatever, but like I said, sadly, StreamYards has killed out my time, so I've got to wait you got to wait another week before I can go live. I don't like this. I used to like Google Hangouts. You just fucking get on there and have people on the panel and it was all good, and then they had to kill that. And now somebody wants to just fucking make money. You know? That's a piss off. But anyway, what can you do? And that's just an expression. We can do a lot. We can do a lot, people. We really can. We all say, oh, what can one person do? Well, one person can say something if they know about it. They can bring it to light. Just protect your ass when you do it. Make sure that you go to mates. Make sure that you make copies. Make sure that whatever it is, copies of paperwork. Make a video. If I can get a friend to make a video, cover your ass because, and don't be afraid to come out. You know, cover your ass. But don't be afraid to come out. Because fear is just, yeah, you know, it's just instilled in everybody. The government won't teach you to dob on them, but they will teach you to dob on each other. So that's the first thing you need to stop fucking doing. Especially for petty shit. In this, the times that we live in, people, and how people are struggling to fucking survive. If I saw somebody shoplifting, do you seriously think I'd dob them in? Hell the fuck no. I'd walk past and go, don't fucking get caught. And that's what these companies need. You know, they need people to rip them off. They need people to stop buying their fucking products. Send them bankrupt. It doesn't matter if your neighbour's not doing it. If you stop buying a product that you know is fucked, you know you're doing something. You're doing something rather than nothing. You're doing something. If you know that somebody beats the living fuck out of their kids, I mean, say something. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Animal abuse. Say something. Because while we're all not doing squat, there's no point in getting on your knees and asking for forgiveness and asking to come and be saved or whatever. Because like I said, that dude up there, I told him, nah, go sip on a margarita or a pina colada or whatever somewhere on a fucking island. Don't fucking save anybody. We're not worth saving. You know, we're really not. We're not worth saving. And I'm not going to be one of those people like, you know, I heard the guy saying the other day, oh, you know, it's these people that whatever, they need you the most and we need to teach. Yeah, no, because there are some that just don't fucking want to change. There are some that should never have been born. And nobody can turn around and tell me I was abused, therefore I shall abuse. Because at what point did you become an adult to say to yourself, did I like what happened to me? If the answer is no, then why the hell would you knowingly want to go do that to somebody else? I am not one of those people that believes in psychology where it says blame your parents for whatever the fuck, you know, happens to you as an adult. I'm not talking about a kid, because you can't help that. That was not your fault. But when you turn of age and you are an adult and you know that what happened was not right, don't go out and fucking do it and then turn around and go, oh, it was because of what my parents did. No, that shit don't wash with me. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. It does not fucking wash with me. Because we're all adults. We all know right from wrong. We all know right from wrong. It's a sad society that we live in, people. You know, I've said it before. I really don't have. I would like to be one of those optimistic people. But doesn't matter which way you look, it's not pretty. It's not fucking pretty. You know, it's not motherfucking pretty. It's ugly. It's ugly as all fuck. And nothing's going to change unless we decide ourselves to change ourselves first. It doesn't matter if the next member of the family doesn't want to do it. It doesn't matter if the neighbour doesn't want to do it. That is of no fucking importance. It's what you do that counts. It's what you do that counts most. And you never know. If you do it and somebody else sees you do it, it'll give them the courage to do the same thing. Oh, listen, Aussie, I ain't gonna fucking judge you, mate. Nah, not when it comes to that anymore. Not the society that we live in, I'm sorry. No. After I started becoming aware of all of this and putting the bits together into this big-ass giant fucking puzzle, how many people have been forced onto the fucking streets where they could have had a home, where they could have still been in a house or an apartment or a flat or call it whatever the fuck you want, in some form of a shelter or whatever. When I started seeing all of this, and I am close to being that way, yeah, no. If I see somebody, hell the fuck no, mate. I'll just tell them, don't get caught. Don't get fucking caught. We live in a fucked society, like I says, people. There's nothing pretty about it. It's not. It's not. Doesn't matter which way you go. Like I said, look at your food source. It's fucked. Look at the water. It's fucked. Look at the air you breathe. Fucked. Human trafficking. Fucked. Look at the child side of it. Fucked. It doesn't matter which way you look. It just depends on the degree of fuckedness. And if that's not a word, I just fucking created a new one. It makes me shitty, people. It really does. It makes me angry. And a lot of the times, like, I sit and watch videos like this sometimes on my own if I'm not live streaming or whatever, and I turn into one of those people that starts fucking... I always used to say to my mother, if we were watching a movie, she'd be one of those like, shoot the bastard, why don't you shoot the bastard? And we'd be like looking at her and we'd all start laughing and go, Ma, for fuck's sake, leave it alone. Can you not while the movie's going? We'll talk about it later. You know, I think I inherited her thing because I just get so fucking angry that I end up stopping the video. I end up going to make a fucking coffee and I'm in the kitchen and I'm fucking angry and I'm throwing the fucking coffee in the cup. You name it. Well, let's use that anger, people. Let's use that frustration and let's do something. Let's not look at each other and go, oh, well, you know, he's of such ethnicity, it doesn't matter, fuck him, or this, that, and the other, or they eat different, or wear different clothes, or whatever. I mean, shit, you guys are here, okay? You guys are here in my chat. I mean, obviously, if you're here and you're listening, you either think I'm stupid and I'm entertaining and you just want to hang around to hear the stupid bits, or you're here counting how many times I say the word fuck, and believe you me, some people do. And this is a good day. This is a good day. Get me on a real fucking shitty day. Oh, you be counting them. Or, you know, you like my ass. And I totally forgot where I was going with that. It'll come to me in a minute. No, it's not coming to me, but it will. It just makes me angry, folks. Just makes me fucking angry. Makes me angry. I mean, to me, this is what I do, okay? And this is why, like, people will say to me, why don't you show yourself? Because looking at me is of no importance. I'm a nobody. I'm another useless eater. I am another useless eater. You don't need to see me. People don't need to see me. People don't need to know my information. What I would like people to do is to listen. If something resonates to you, then take it. If something doesn't resonate to you, leave it behind. My word is not the be-all, end-all of Lord knows fucking whatever. But this is what I'm doing to try and help. This is what I'm doing. We have to want to change ourselves before anything is going to change. You know, we have to want to change ourselves. I'm still trying to fucking think what I was going to say to you guys. I'll probably end the live stream. It'll come back to me. And I'll go, oh, fuck. There's another fuck for those counting. Oh, that's what I was going to say. When I was going off about why you're here. You know? And the fact that some of you just might like my ass. I'm not Australian. I'm Croatian. I eat different food to you. I speak a different language to you. At the end of the day, we all want the same fucking thing. It don't matter what category we've been put in. We just need to know that we're all in the same shit pool. What's happening here is happening to you guys. It's happening to people in India. It's happening to people in Pakistan. It's happening to people in Iran. It's happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. Because there's assholes everywhere, you know? There's always somebody looking to make a buck, looking to make thousands of dollars, and if they can do it off another human being, they will. They will. I'm not sitting here looking at you guys going, oh, you're a bunch of fucking, I don't know, Americans, or here a bunch of fucking Aussie bastards, da-da-da-da. Hell no. We're all the same. We eat, sleep, breathe, shit, fucking whatever, give each other the shits. We're all the fucking same. Just don't be fucking hating, you know? If we can't say something to stop another person from suffering, or an animal, a living thing, from suffering, then what does that make us? You know, what does that make us? What kind of fucking people are we? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It don't matter. I wouldn't care if it was somebody from fucking India, you know, if it was I don't know why the fuck India keeps coming out my fucking mouth. I should check the news and see what's going on in India. But do you know what I mean? It wouldn't matter to me, it doesn't matter to me if I see somebody getting fucking abused. I'm going to say something. I don't care how they're dressed. I don't care how they speak. I don't care. We need to stop what they created, which was hate and division. God forbid you fucking get on with people from another country. God forbid. How are they going to instill fear in you if you decide that you want to actually get on with those people? Do you know what I mean? How can they instill fear into you? They can't then turn around and say to you, oh, this country is coming to get you, they're a threat. Nobody's fucking invading. I've said this before. Nobody's invading anybody. Nobody is a fucking threat. The only fucking threat that we have as useless eaters is the governments that play these stupid motherfucking games. We've just got to stop playing that game. They know where everybody is. This live stream will not, oh God, I don't know until I run out of fucking shit to talk about, Shane. That's our enemy, people. We're not each other's enemies. The government is our enemy. The government is our enemy because they know where all of this has taken place. They know where it all is, where children are being abused, them being abusers. They know, and they do nothing. They do nothing. The only time I think that one of them literally gets taken out is if they don't toe the line. I think that's when they get ousted to the public or they get taken out because something went wrong somewhere and they don't want to toe the line anymore. But otherwise, they protect their asses. They protect each other's asses. Why aren't we protecting each other's asses? You know, we're in that fucking shit pool, neck deep in shit, and that's how deep in it we are, neck deep in shit. But you know, useless eater just wants to push another useless eater's fucking head under the shit. Not good enough that we're all neck deep in shit. We need to stop doing that. We need to stop doing that. Because if one reaches the edge of that shit pool, he needs to put his hand out and help the next guy, who in turn puts his hand out and helps the next guy. That way we can all get out of the shit pool at the same fucking time. All the same, people. Don't take government's word for anything. Like I always say, go to a website. Go to a chat room that belongs to somebody in another country. You'll always find somebody that is English speaking in there. If not, they will use translator to communicate with you. And can I please tell you, don't use Google Translator because damn, that can fuck up some sentences. It can turn a good sentence into something that's like, oh my God, like what the fuck? Don't hate on each other, people. Talk to each other. Share your experiences. Tell them about your chemtrails. They'll tell you about their chemtrails because trust me, they're getting them too. I mean, you look at these so-called third world countries. Why are they third world countries? You have a look at their governments and some of them are building fucking nuclear weapons, missiles, yada, yada, yada. Shitload of fucking dough going into this, going into that. But they can't keep the fucking country clean. You'd kind of think that you would employ all those unemployed people to clean the streets, to clean the fucking rivers, to clean the what do you call them, the waterways. That's employment. But they don't want you fucking employed. They want you shitting on a fucking beach. And that's just talking about one country. You know, but go see how the ones at the top live. You know, you can't come through their front gate. God forbid. God forbid. Fuck everybody else. You think any other government's different? They know the game. They know it's a game. You're paying for it. It's your tax dollars that are paying for your own extermination. It's your tax dollars that are supporting every fucking thing. The genetically modified food, the shit in your fucking water, the shit that we fucking breathe. Tax dollars are paying for that. Tax dollars are paying for every fucker's salary above you. Those ones that you think you vote in, those ones that you think are going to be your saviours. This one's going to save us, that one's going to save us. Let me enlighten you. No fucker is coming to save your ass. It's either look at your neighbour or your brother standing next to you or whatever, whether he's family related or not, We either start helping each other. Nobody's coming to fucking save our ass. Exactly, Aussie Tiger. Exactly. Dude, I asked a question. I asked a question. I didn't book a ticket. I did not exit the country. I asked a question. And without notification, it was purely accidental that I found what I found when I did, and I'm like, what the fuck? They cut my income in half. For me, now, I have bank loans that I have to pay. I refuse to fucking declare bankruptcy. I refuse. I've spent all my fucking life trying to do the right fucking thing. And in a split second, because I asked a question, they flipped my life. From fortnight to fortnight, I wait to see whether I'm going to have to walk out the fucking front door and literally leave everything behind. From fortnight to fortnight. So don't think that I don't know what people are going through. And if I personally am not going through it, guaranteed I know somebody that is going through some other fucking, I don't know, government caused shit thing. So pardon me if I can't be optimistic and say, oh yeah, people are waking up. Jesus, how many generations from now forward, unless somebody, which I hope they do, I hope some maniac somewhere decides he wants to push a button, because then everybody will push a fucking button and we'll just get a clean start, which is good. And I don't care if I go down with that. You know, I don't care. But this is all getting out of hand. It's gotten way out of hand. Way, way, way fucking out of hand. And people just don't, you know, people still, they swallow the bullshit, they believe the lies, they're still in front of the TV, they're still fucking hanging on to those mobile phones for dear fucking life. Do you know what I mean? I mean, yes, we're on the internet. You can say, oh, well, fuck, you're on the internet. I am. Why? Because I want to share what I know. I want to share it with other people. And this is the only opportunity that I'm going to get to do that. Because once the internet stops, that's it, folks. That's it. No more mobile phone. No more internet. People are going to go nuts. People are going to go nuts. So while you've got the opportunity, as far as like the internet goes, use it wisely. Share the stuff that needs to be shared. Don't just use it. Like I've said before, the amount of chats that I've gone to go into, and I get there and I think, oh, I'll listen to see what's going on. Oh my God. Oh my God. The people are being abused on the fucking chat, and I don't mean, there is no polite way to abuse somebody. There just isn't. You know, if you're abusing, as in verbal abuse. People downing people telling others that they're just total fuckwits, yada yada, bitches, hoes. That it's endless. And I think to myself, really? Really? Like there is nothing more important going on this earth that we could focus our energy on than something like that. Thank you, Cliff. But I encourage people, no matter where I go, on whose panel I go, I always try to encourage people. Share Share your stories. It doesn't matter what it's about. Whether it's about an illness, did you cure yourself? Did you find alternative medicine? It doesn't matter if it's a spiritual experience. It doesn't matter what it is. Just keep on fucking sharing while we have that opportunity. 'Cause it will stop. It will stop. Especially for the people that are speaking up. Like I said, I had to make a choice. Do you think I can afford the internet? Hell the fuck no. Hell the fuck no. I can't afford the internet. But I'm refusing. I'm refusing to fucking lay down. Because they don't care, people. They really don't. For anybody that thinks that they've got a say in fucking politics or whatever, yeah, just stop that illusion. You're living a fucking illusion. When you're in deep shit one day, go down to your local fucking politician and see if he actually saves your ass. That'll be a good eye-opener. Because trust me, I've been there. I've been there. Oh, we can help you, we can this, we can that. And when you go there, you kind of wait, oh, we'll send you an email. Okay. They send me an email the next day telling me the exact same fucking thing that I already know. I was so pissed off and I thought, are you fucking shitting me? So I wrote back and said, that's it? You're telling me what I already know? And then there was this big hype before that. Oh yeah, bring your paperwork down, da-da-da. We'll make the calls, we'll do. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. I tried it. Even though I didn't believe it, I tried it to prove to myself that they're all fucked up and they don't care. The only reason they need your vote is to get a higher position. But as far as the honchos at the top and what party gets in, they're all owned by the same fucking crowd. And you are the least thing that they are concerned about. I mean, like somebody was saying, trillions of dollars gone missing. There's no trillions of dollars gone missing. They know where every fucking dime is. They know where it is. You don't know where it is. You'll never fucking know where it is, but they do. They definitely do. I mean, I was watching a video. Somebody sent me a link on Skype to actually watch it. And it was all about people having energy, obviously harnessing the chi energy in their body, and they could move things and lift things that were so huge, like they weighed I don't know how many fucking tons. And just with their hands over the top of these things, with their mind, with the energy in their body, they could move these things. And these films that were put together, okay, these films that were put together. Hey, Magic Jones is in the house for anybody that wants to be entertained and watch a guy put a song together in a fucking day. Go over to his channel, sub, hit the like button. It's been a long time, mate. And I do apologise for not coming around. But yeah, life gets depressing and everything else that's going around gets depressing, and yeah, you kind of forget that you need to go to some of these music channels and just listen to music, nothing else. Although I do run away to DLive. Because YouTube won't let me play music, so I run away to DLive and I sit there for hours playing the blues and all the other stuff that I like. Yeah, tell me about it. I don't know, folks. I don't know what else to tell you except for the fact that just support each other. I don't mean just on YouTube. I mean in life. You know, if you can help somebody, freaking, I don't know, trade, get them to come mow your fucking lawn, give them food. If we don't take care of each other, I'm under the same name there, mate. So I'm easy to find. And you should go there too, actually. I don't know why you're not. But useless eaters need to help out useless eaters, because they're not coming. You know, they're not coming, people. They're not there for you. They're not there for you. They are there basically to make sure that this game continues on every level. They are there to fool you into thinking that you have a say, and you don't fucking have a say. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know a mega shitload about it, but it's similar to doing a live stream. I use OBS and then restream to pretty much stream to DLive. That you can't put videos up there yet. Well, you can, but you need X amount of followers before you can do that. But just to stream your stuff up there, like if you're streaming on YouTube, you can stream on DLive at the same time. Yeah, just to get your name out or whatever. If you want, hey, I can stream your YouTube channel there. I can put your music up there. I can run all your music onto my page. I can put all of that out there. I mean, I can't tell you the mega ins and outs of it. I know it's all got to do with lemons and fucking collecting lemons, which I hate. I'm sorry, but I'm not a fucking kindergartner. But yeah, there's always some little thing to all of this, you know. Got to collect limes and lemons and treasure chest, and got to keep us like kitties. We're all kitties. Oh, cool. Cool. I'll check it out later. I'll follow you back, okay? I'll be your first follower. But yeah, we've got to wake up, people. Assume responsibility of your body. Assume responsibility of your children. It's what I always say to everybody. Don't just fucking hand them over to the government. And I don't mean when about Child Protective Services comes. I mean just in general, you know. Don't be afraid to discipline your own child. You gave birth to them. You're responsible for them. I don't know. Does anybody else want to? I mean, this is shitty. That's why I said this is the only reason that I don't like this, is because I can't have people on like a panel, you know, and everybody can put their input in. And I know it's a pain in the ass fucking typing in chat. But yeah, I think I've made everybody's ears bleed today. Sometimes I think I make everybody's ears bleed every fucking live stream. I'm angry. I'm fucking angry at society. I'm angry at humanity. I'm just fucking angry at everything. Because I can see it all. I can see it all. Don't just look at the chunk of dirt that we're standing on, people. Look at the whole lot. Look at the bigger picture. Because you ain't special. They're not just poisoning you, so don't class yourself as being special. But at the same time, because it's not good, to live with negativity. I mean, for those of you that don't know Blind Justice, and yes, I'm mentioning somebody's name, but that's okay. I'm not in his channel. I've got his videos on my thingy, so I'm going to mention him. When I watched his video of getting arrested yet again, and I watched that, yeah, you continue watching stuff on YouTube, and that negativity does spill over. You research its constant negativity, and that does spill over into your own life, because you walk away from the computer and you start feeling depressed, and you start asking yourself, you know, like, what's the point? What's the point of any of it? What's the point? You know? But we can't fucking give up. You know, we can't give up. Giving up is not an option. Not for me anyway. I can get depressed, I can get angry, I can get down on myself, I can get fucking, I don't know, disillusioned with everything. But I come with those genes of I'm a fighter. I ain't giving up. But to collect my own sanity at times, and I suggest you guys do the same. Go where there's music, wherever it is that your favourite music channel is or whatever, crank the fucking stereo up. If you've got a radio in the house, crank that fucking bitch up. Listen to music. It doesn't matter what type of music, whatever the fuck rocks you know, rocks your boat, bends your fucking ears back, floats your boat, whatever the fuck it is, don't forget to listen to music. And for every chance you get, have a laugh. Have a laugh. Even if it's something that you know, like I was in somebody's chat today, and they ran a video. They ran a video of, and I'm not going to mention names, they ran a video of some auditors or whatever that got attacked, especially one of them, by a woman. I swear to God, this woman just fucking lost her cool. Dude, I was sitting here, I was fucking losing it. And I was literally writing in chat that it's made my fucking morning, and I was pissing myself laughing. Now, nobody really fucking commented back, which suited me just fine. But you have to look at the insanity of what is going on around us, and at sometimes just fucking laugh at it. Laugh at it. Because it's like I've said, like, it's a dead soul, you know, no compassion, no understanding, no fucking tolerance. Zombies. Zombies. And just to make a note of something, if we ever do have like zombies, God, I hope they can't run fast. Because if they can, we're all fucked. But yeah, I hope they're like the ones in The Walking Dead. You know, they're alright. I could go hack some heads off and yada yada. That's alright. I don't mind that. I just don't want them like in that other movie where they run like, yeah, oh, that is not good. They're like fucking ants, mate. No. That doesn't appeal to me. Oh, listen, I'm just trying to bring some humour to a fucking shitty situation. We just finished watching a video on child trafficking and how Child Protective Services lies to take people's children away, and, you know, it's just, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know, folks. I don't know what to tell you. Again, I say, a lot of the times I sound like a broken record, but fuck. If they can indoctrinate us by constant repetition, then I'm hoping that I indoctrinate yous with constant repetition. You know? And it's not only that, it's a reminder. It's kind of like, because you think you've gotten out of it. You think you get yourself out of it, but you start falling back into that same fucking pattern. So constant repetition can be good because it pulls you back out. You know what I mean? It kind of says, hang on a minute, you're slipping. Get back out of that shit pool. We'll be too busy looking at our phones to know that there's zombies nearby. Exactly. People will be chasing Pokemon for fuck's sake. Oh my God, let's not even go on that. Oh no, let's not even go on that. Oh, yeah, no. No, I'm not even touching that shit. When that thing came out and I was hearing that people were getting actually hit by cars because they were chasing Pokemon in the middle of the fucking street. When I initially got over the shock of it, you know what I mean? The initial shock, as in, what the fuck? Then I just pissed myself laughing. I pissed myself laughing at oh, yeah, no. Let's not even go there. Let's not even go there. That's just too fucking sad. See, now you brought me back to the depressive part. But it will be, you know. It will be. People will be so busy looking at their phones. I mean, I always say to my daughter, when she says, oh, you know, it's going to rain today or whatever, I say, oh, don't be a fucking idiot. Don't listen to what's coming through the radio. Sure, I've got the radio turned on because I'm trying to fuck up the frequency in this house, okay? And it stays on 24/7 now. I say to her, you want to know the weather? Ask me. Ask me. I can look out the fucking front door and I can tell you what the weather is. I'll go outside and I'll look up if there's chemtrails around. Oh, yeah, I know, a couple of days. Give it a couple of days. We're going to get some rain. Or somebody's going to get some fucking rain. It just depends where they want it to go to. And if it really fucks up and we weren't forecast rain, but we got rain, I always say to my daughter, oh, yeah, somebody fucked up. They're teaching somebody. Somebody's got learner plates on. They got learner plates on. They didn't drop it in the right fucking place. It's sad that we live in that kind of society. And like I say, it's not going to change unless we change, people. It won't. We have to make a conscious choice to change ourselves before anything else is going to change. We can't blame Dick next door. We can't blame whoever down the road. We can't blame the next suburb. We can't blame the next country. We have to blame ourselves. That's where it starts. Hello, poor dirt farmer. That's where it starts. We've got to change ourselves before we can expect anything else to change. But, again, while we've got the internet, use it to your advantage and share what you know. Use it to your advantage. Don't just start it up. Don't look at the fucking view factor. Don't look at the fucking how many of this I've got, how many of that have I got, or whatever. Fuck that. Fuck that. That is put in place so that people compete. You know what I mean? There's another game for you, see? There's another game for the useless eater to play. Fuck that. Just put out your experiences. Let somebody else know. Even if somebody doesn't comment, even if they don't give you a thumbs up, you might have helped somebody. You might have helped somebody. Use it to your advantage. Don't fucking start it and then, you know, oh, I've got X amount of this and I've got X amount of that, and all of a sudden you've got one of those channels going where people are just fucking abusing everybody. The amount of people that I've been told, like, that go into chats and they're too scared to say anything. They'll watch, but they're too scared to say anything in chat in case they get abused. Because they have an opinion. Don't make yours like that. It's your channel, your chat. Your rules. Make sure that people can come in, and you'll be amazed as to the amount of people that will come through that can share amazing fucking stories that normally wouldn't do it in somebody else's chat because they're too scared to go in there because they can see what's going on. So use it wisely. That's all I've got to say. Use it wisely. Because it will disappear. Don't think it won't. Don't think it won't. And there's not a need for it, people, really. There just isn't. I mean, what does anybody get out of abusing somebody else? Like, really, what? What does anybody get out of destroying somebody else's privacy? I mean, aren't we being spied on enough? Do we have to do it to each other? Do we have to do it to each other? Oh, people need to be exposed. People need to be exposed. Come on. Come on. Really? It matters where somebody lives. It matters where whatever. And not only that, what I've also seen too. Good on you, mate. You go do that. I'll catch you next time. What I've also seen people do, like if you were friends, if you classed somebody enough of a mate to share stuff with them, you know what I mean? To share part of your life or whatever with them, just because you have a falling out, don't go plaster that all over over YouTube, over the platforms. Take it to email if you have a dispute with somebody. You trusted that person enough to tell them something. If your friendship has fallen apart, then leave it at that. Leave it at that. You don't have to. You don't have to bring all that shit out just to get back at them for whatever fucking reason. You don't have to. Nobody forces you. You make that choice. You make that choice. It's not he made me do it, because he said, fuck what he said. Do you have to do it? That's why I say, don't blame somebody else. You've got to make the change within yourself. If you don't make the change within yourself, nothing is going to change. Nothing. I mean, I've got a picture that I'm going to share with you guys. Oh, God, here I go. I'm going to fuck shit up now. I'm going to really fuck shit up. Do you want to watch me fuck shit up? I'm pushing buttons again. I'm pushing buttons again. Hang on a minute. I want to show you a picture. Don't panic. Just fucking, yeah, just hold on to your seats. Don't panic. I'll be there shortly. Alright? I'll be there shortly. Whoops. Hang on. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay, let me have a look in here. Because I have to remember where I put it. There's a picture that I saw on somebody's channel, stream, whatever it was that I was looking at that point in time. And I thought that pretty much says it all. You know, pretty much says it fucking all. And I'm going to find that and I'm going to post it for you guys so that you can have a look. Hang on a minute. It's not in that folder. Let's go in here. There it is. Open. Okay. Alright. Let me make a fit. See how well I'm doing this? Can you see how well I'm doing this? Whoops, forgot that one. Get back in there. Can you see it? Is it showing yet? See, look at the top picture. Who wants change? Everybody puts their hands up. The bottom picture, who wants to change? Nobody puts their hands up. It says, stop doing someone else's dirty work. Make the change to be a better person. Think for yourself. Do not just run with someone else's idea, event, person. Assume responsibility of your mouth and actions. I added that bit there. But the picture itself and the other two bits where it says who wants to change and who wants change, that was the initial picture, okay? That says it all. That is what I see on a daily basis. That is what I see on a daily basis. But how many actually make the conscious decision to change themselves? Because that's where it starts. Like I said, it ain't the neighbour. Ain't the neighbour's fault. Ain't the next suburb's fault. Ain't the next county's fault. Ain't the next country's fault. You've got to look at yourself first. Damn, I could have put up pretty pictures for you guys earlier on, and I went on such a fucking rant that, oh, listen, I always tell you guys anyway, my channel, you ain't gonna get pretty. There's nothing pretty here. You want pretty, you want sugar-coated, you want pictures to be even, you want pictures to follow one another, you want them to blend, merge. You ain't gonna get that on my channel. It's raw. Because that's the way life is. It's fucking raw. Ain't nothing pretty about it. Nothing pretty at all. People, on that note, I don't think I will bore you any longer. I don't even know how long I've been on. Probably a few hours. Or it feels like it, I think. Let me check. I have to go to all these different pages to see where everything is. Oh, 2.5 hours. There you go. But I did want to share that video with people. Because, yeah, I've got a couple of others, but I just have to go find them. I'm one of those people that totally, I just forget when I'm there and I'm really getting into it and I'm thinking, I want to fucking share this. I forget to subscribe to that channel. I seriously forget to subscribe to that channel and I think, oh, I'll remember, that's what the name is of the video. Yeah, no, because there's too much going on in this head most of the time. But when I do find those videos, I will share them. And if you see me trying again to start a live stream on YouTube, especially if it's with OBS and you see it comes on and it comes off and I'm not there, and you might even hear me fucking mumbling and swearing in the background, just be patient, you know what I mean? Go away for a while, come back, you know, eventually I actually get it going like I did today. But yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as we get this shit out to one another, you know what I mean? I think that's what's most important. It's not who brings it to you, it's not how it's fucking brought to you, it's simply the fact that it is brought to you. So, on that note, folks, I would like to thank everybody that hung out. I'd like to thank the ones that stuck around, the ones that came through just to say hi, and all the rest of it. And I will catch you folks on the upside, and if it's not here on YouTube via OBS, then hey, you can always find me on D Live. I got that shit right. Well, I don't really. It fucks up on me sometimes, but hey, majority of the times, it's okay. It's either I can stream on D Live or I can't. Period. So, I mean, those are the only two options that I have. Shit either works or it doesn't work. But yeah, that's why I thought I'll try with this YouTube, because I have tried before, and for some odd reason, I just couldn't get the shit fucking working. Even though I did move the codes and the keys and the yada yada yadas. But yeah. Anyway, on that note, folks, I'm going to love you and leave you. And be good. If you can't be good, be fucking careful. Stay out of trouble. Love your fellow man, and if it's one of those that you can't, bullet. Later, Danny. Catch you guys later. I will be back. In the famous words of that not so good looking man, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I will be back. Later, people.